Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up today with a layout for Confessions of a Paper Addict, and I am using the brand new cut file that's been released today called Music, and you can see it here. I've cut it out twice on my silhouette, once with lovely orange paper and once with black. Now the black one is not perfect, so when it didn't cut out super well, I decided to cut it again on the orange, and then I decided to use them both. Now I'm going to do a bit of mixed media in my background, so I've mixed some white acrylic paint with some orange, or I think it's called tangerine acrylic paint, and then I'm sort of lightening the colour a bit because the tangerine's quite full on. And I'm just playing around with that colour and then thinking about how I'm best going to apply it to my page. I think I tried a few different things and then I can't remember if I tried a couple of options and then ended up going with a baby wipe or I must have stuck with this paintbrush. So I'm sort of going with a diagonal design, and so I'm sort of putting the paint on my whole page in the diagonal, and just using up everything, really, all the paint that's on the plastic that I used to mix it, just because it's there and I didn't want to waste it. I was going to maybe splotch it on and go with some different tones or like an ombre effect, but in the end I just end up putting the paint straight on the layout like that and just kind of go with it. It's a much lighter orange, which is what I was going for, and again, you'll know if you know us or know me, my band is predominantly orange. I do use a lot of orange, and I think I'm really happy with how this all kind of came together and how it all looks. As I said, a lot of orange. Go us with the orange. I also have some white acrylic paint here that my sister got me. It's the Liquitex, or is it acrylic? Ink. Sorry, ink. And I am splattering it with a fan brush. And sorry, my phone rang. So I'm back. I'm back with continuing my voiceover. Sorry for the interruption. I know you didn't hear my phone ring, but it did indeed ring, and now I'm a little bit distracted. But that's okay. I'm back. I'm focused. Now, I just told you that I had added splatters. Now, I added the Liquitex ink in the white, and now I'm adding some. This is also, I think it's an ink, or is it acrylic? No, this might be an acrylic paint, actually. I don't know. It's from Stamping Up. It's old. I don't think they have it anymore, and it's in a gold colour. So I'd never used it. I wanted to give it a whirl, so I got that out and added splatters. And so now I've gone, this is dried, and I've come back like the next day. So I was going to dry it with a heat tool, but I just decided to let it dry naturally, and and then it doesn't warp as much, I find, if you let it dry naturally. Obviously, if you have to dry it with a fan brush, oh, you can see what kind of day I've had, people. I've had a day. It's the first day that my son's been home. We're in stage 4 lockdown in Melbourne. We have no childcare at the moment. So it's the first day that my son's been home, and I was also working. But we managed, and it's the end of the day now. But you can tell from my voice that it's been a long day. We got through it. We did well, but I'm not disappointed that the day is over, I'll be honest. But that's okay. We've got 5 more weeks. We will get there. So let me tell you what I'm doing. I let my background dry naturally. I find that if I dry it naturally rather than with a heat tool, it doesn't warp quite as much. It might still warp a little bit. I didn't prep this paper with gesso, but you could obviously prep your paper with gesso or use mixed media cardstock, like the Vicky Bouton Foundations paper. I've been told the Basil Marshmallow cardstock is good. So, you've got a few different options, but I just let it dry naturally overnight, and then I've come back the next day and I am going to continue putting my layout together. I decided that I did want to back this on a really thin or have a really thin black border around it. Because I've got the black music cut file as well as the music cut file cutter and orange, I don't know, I wanted the black to sort of tie it all together. So in the end, I decided to cut down, like, I think it's about 1/4 of an inch border around in black. So I've gutted the inside of the black cardstock. I didn't need the extra cardstock on the background for stability, so I didn't want to waste it, and I use black cardstock a lot for cutting cut files, but also for mounting photos and things like that. So I didn't want to waste that black cardstock, so I do gut it. And now I'm just using some liquid glue, which funnily enough doesn't stick, so I have to come back and use my Tombow Mono. This is like a Stampin' Up glue, fine tip glue. I think they still have it, but mine is very old, and I wonder, does glue lose its stickiness? Does anybody know? Is that a thing that glue does? Because this definitely does not stick. Now, I did used to use this glue to add like shiny, glossy accent to like stamps and things like that, stamped images. So it might actually be that it's not the best glue, that it's better to be used to kind of make a nice effect on a stamped image or something, and not to actually stick things together with, even though it's called glue. So you can see me here. I had to come back in with my Tombow Multi Mono glue and kind of adhere the edges that are definitely just not going to stick. So I pretty much have to go around and add extra glue to each of the sides, but that's okay. I've learnt. My glue was downstairs. I had to go off and get it. I was just being lazy, but we will know for next time. Don't be lazy. The Stampin' Up glue is not so great at sticking this kind of stuff together. Sorry if you can hear my dogs. There must be someone walking past our house, I suspect. As I said, we're in stage 4 lockdown, so we're allowed outside for an hour a day for our exercise. And so there are quite often people walking past, either with their dogs or just on their own, to get in their hour of exercise. So, yeah. And we have a curfew, so we need to be home by 8 o'clock at night, I think, and not out again until 5 o'clock in the morning. But it's all for a good cause. We are going to try and get this virus under control. Let's hope this works, and I hope wherever you are in the world, you guys are all staying safe as well. So back to what I'm doing on this layout. I've mounted my photos on white cardstock and black cardstock. So there's a thin white border and a thin black border around it. The photos are both of my partner and my son. My partner's a conductor in his band uniform, which is orange, and my son is holding my partner's baton, and they're just pulling funny faces at each other. So I thought the series of photos was cute, and I wanted to get them all onto the layout. Now I have added some glue behind this black cut file that I cut. So I cut one in black, as I said, and I've cut one in orange. And then my plan was, the black one didn't cut very well. It's actually broken in a couple of places. So I actually, instead of throwing it out, I decided to use it as like a shadow, so to speak. So you can see I've popped up the orange one on foam, and that took me ages because I had to cut the foam so small to fit behind the cut file, but I really love the effect that this gives. So I've popped the orange up on foam, and I have stuck that on top of the black, and as I said, I've made the black into like a shadow effect, and in person it looks great. I'm really happy with how it all came together. Now you can see me getting out a few bits and pieces over here. I actually cut out some layered flowers and layered leaves, which was another cut file that Virginia made last month, I believe. Everything will be linked down below, so definitely go and check out these cut files if you like them. And the layered flowers and layered leaves I just thought would be cool to use as embellishments on this page. So I couldn't think how I really wanted this to look. I don't have a lot of music related embellishments, so I needed something. So I ended up pulling out some cardstock in yellows and orange tones, as well as the greens, and I cut out the flowers and the leaves with my silhouette. And I'm really happy with how it all comes together, actually. I don't know, it works. In my opinion, it works. So I'm creating 3 clusters of flowers. Now I know I have 2 flowers in each cluster, and I don't know if I should be having an odd number, but anyway, I don't. I've got 2. And so I am just kind of placing those florals where I want them, and I'm going to stick everything down. Now I think from memory I don't edit this part out because I do sort of faff around a little bit with where I want it to go. Some things are tucked under the cut file, and some things are over, and so I left this process in, and then I add in my leaves, and yeah, it just kind of building my embellishment clusters Definitely took a little bit of time for this layout. But again, I'm really happy with how it all came together. I did have to do a little bit of fiddling around with the cut file because I actually ended up, you'll see in a minute, I cut out some more individual music notes in black. And so I had to kind of cut those out from, I used the music cut file and I pulled a couple of the individual notes, but I had to do a little bit of fiddling around to make that work. So it did take quite a bit of time off camera, I guess, in the Silhouette software to get the effect that I was looking for. So you can see me here placing the leaves. I want to add some greenery. I really wanted the green to kind of tone down the yellows and the oranges that are going on here. So I needed the green so that there was some balance and it wasn't just all orange and yellow. But I'm really happy with how it all came together. Now I've got some treble clefs in my stash, which are the naked chipboard, I guess you could call it. It's it's chipboard, but there's nothing on top of it. So it's that kind of paper color, grey color. So I got those out, and now these are the music notes that I was mentioning earlier, where I said that I took some of the music notes in the cut file and like separated them from the word music, and then made them bigger, and then cut a few different sets to use as embellishments, because I didn't have any other music embellishments and I thought that would work well, and it did work well. I'm really happy with how it all came together, and I think the black kind of ties it in nicely with the black border and the black background of the music cut file, and also the black around the photos. Now these treble clefs, as I said, they're just the naked the raw cardstock chipboard, sorry. And so in the end I used my Wink of Stella brush in gold, and I just brushed colour over them. One already had the Wink of Stella in gold because I was sort of trying it out to see if it would look all right, and I decided I liked the look. It just adds a little bit of shimmer, but it's not too much, and it ties in with the gold splatters that I put on the background. So I'm using that brush and just to colour those in, the two in that I hadn't already coloured, and then I'm going to stick everything down. And I think that's pretty much done. I don't even know, do I add some other splatters at the end? Probably. I'm all about the splatters, let's be honest. So let's have a look. I'm still colouring. So now I have stuck everything down. I didn't make you watch that because this video is already so long. But I did stick down those embellishments, and then I added another little bit of extra to my title. So it now says "For the Love of Music," because I thought it just needed the thickers on there. Again, they're the gold with the white foam underneath. I had to doctor up a few E's, but that's okay. I just used letter F, and I turned it into an E. So that worked well. And I'm adding some orange splatters. And I'm just seeing if I'm adding anything else. I think I am. Is this the navy? This is probably the navy. Oh, no, it could be a green. No, it's a green. I wanted to bring a green to tie in with the green leaves, but to be honest, the green that I have is a Distress Oxide, and it's a little bit blue. I know that sounds weird, but it's more of a blue green, so it definitely didn't tie in as well as it could have, but that's okay. It just brings a nice little extra bit of colour to the layout. So that's it. We are all done. I'm going to show you some close-ups, and I think we are finished. I'm just trimming off the edges. Now, everything will be linked down below, including the cut files. There'll be a link to the Confessions of a Paper Addict Facebook group. So definitely come and check it out, because I know there's some freebies coming this month. So come and join us. You will have a heap of fun, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, guys.